Let's make sure everything is good. What's going on, everybody? Sasha, your market expert here in Charlotte. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to a live, if you happen to be watching this live. If not, obviously I upload these videos after I do them. So I'm a little bit late, but I'm a little bit early as well. I was actually supposed to do this live yesterday, which was Friday, but today's Saturday. Just got wrapped up, last minute showing, had the right two offers and get everything locked in as best as I possibly could. Talk to agents. It's a whole process. That goes into it. It takes hours and hours. It took me about 3-4 hours to get the offers written, talk to the agents, see what we needed to do to be, extremely competitive, to be the one that actually gets the house. But then I'm a little bit early because I said I was supposed to be on at 12, but it's 11:45 now, and I am too paranoid and anxious because the offer that we got written, deadlines are at 12. And I spoke to the seller's agent, and she said, listen, I'm going to wait out until 12 o'clock. If most likely we are going to accept the offer you guys wrote. And if we don't get anything within the next hour, by 12:05, you'll get the signed contract back, which means, we got the house. So it's a little nerve-wracking. So I came to the office and nobody's here, and all I hear is this clock ticking. So it's just ticking, and I just couldn't stand it because I know in roughly less than 20 minutes I'll know if we got our offer accepted. So I needed to hop on to take my mind off of everything. So as always, just drop any questions you might possibly have down below. And I will be here nervous for the next 20 minutes seeing if our offer got accepted. So I'm a little fidgety. I get too attached to my clients, to these offers, to these houses. Obviously I want them to get the house, and things like that. So we will see. Hopefully I'll get that email in about 15 minutes, and then I'll be able to share the good news with you. But with that being said, I do want to talk about something that I thought was pretty cool. The former CEO of Blockbuster just listed his house for sale in Charlotte. The address is 8433 Eagle Glen Way. It's located on Quail Hollow Golf Course, which is one of the golf courses where they do the PGA Tours. So I think it's pretty cool that, the former CEO of Blockbuster used to live here. But this house is massive. It's listed at $6,495,000. It is a 7-bedroom, 7 full bathroom, 3 half bath house on just over an acre of land. It has 13,466 square feet of living space. And if you happen to look it up, they call it like the baby Biltmore. So if you know the Biltmore Estates is located in Asheville. It's a very popular destination for people to go to and check out. It's just like a huge castle, Biltmore Estates Castle. And this house looks very much like it. So it's pretty interesting. It's definitely pretty interesting. But what I'm gonna do until we get a couple people on here, I'm just gonna go off with a couple comments I received on some of my videos until we get some more questions coming in here. And like I said, if you have any questions at all, just drop them down below, and we're gonna get into some of these comments over here that I have. So I'll answer those questions just to kind of start off because I thought there was some good ones. I read all the comments. I get some trolls on there as to be expected, but whatever the case is. So I actually got a question from Dave from the 90s. Sasha, I appreciate your hard work on the informative videos. What do you think of Rock Hill, South Carolina, or Fort Mill, South Carolina? Very interested in moving up with my family from Miami, Florida. So that's interesting, Miami, Florida. I feel like Miami's a paradise, but there's a ton of people from Florida moving to Charlotte. And a lot of them are from Miami, Fort Lauderdale area, Tampa, which is interesting. So Rock Hill and Fort Mill, extremely similar. Extremely similar. I personally tend to lean towards Fort Mill, just because it's closer to Uptown Charlotte, and there's a ton of growth. There's a ton of growth happening in both areas, but Fort Mill's definitely exploding because it's the closest to Uptown Charlotte. Rock Hill is also a great area. They both have great schools. Cost of living is a little bit cheaper. You can get more bang for your buck in Rock Hill and Fort Mill. But Fort Mill's smaller than Rock Hill, so it's a little more condensed. And that's honestly where I see most of the people moving to. If somebody's moving to Charlotte, Fort Mill is the one that pops up mostly, and I'm assuming that's because it's closer to the North Carolina border, closer to Uptown Charlotte. But obviously, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're somebody that wants to be close to the big city, then Fort Mill is a better option just because it's closer. Other than that, honestly, they're both great areas. They're both extremely similar. They both offer the good schools. They both offer the bigger house for the money than you can get here in Charlotte. I always tell people go to Rock Hill, go to Fort Mill, and just see which one you like better. Rock Hill is going to be a little bit older as far as a little bit more established, and Fort Mill is going to be a little bit newer. A lot of building been going on in Fort Mill. And if you watch my video, I believe it was the 6 things you didn't know about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I mentioned something on there that York County, which is the county where Rock Hill and Fort Mill is located in, their population is expected to double in the next coming years, which is absolutely insane. I mean, doubling a population, which is what Charlotte did. So you can expect a big boom in Rock Hill and Fort Mill. So I honestly don't think you can go wrong there, living there, short term or even long term. Like I said, a lot of people like it there. Cost of living is good. Schools are good. Location is good. But let's see. So Dave, that's what I can tell you, my friend. If there's anything else, any other question you might have, feel free to send me an email or just call me. Call me directly if you want any certain information about the areas as well. Just let me know. And I'll get into, let me get into some of these other comments here. And the funny thing about comments, I never know who I'm talking to. I don't know if you live in Charlotte. I don't know if you live, out of state. Most people are out of state, but some comments, based off what somebody says, I can almost guess that they live in Charlotte because they know a little bit too much, or they, watch a lot of my videos. So I made a video. It was Ballantyne, talking about Ballantyne and some major changes that are coming with Ballantyne Reimagine, which is this absolutely huge project, mixed-use development project that's going to be 525 acres. Had a lot of my previous clients reach out to me, asking me more questions about it, and things like that. So I got a comment from Anthony Moore. You can see it right now. And basically, his comment was nice for amenities, but it will lower property values and school rankings. I disagree with your assessment. Mixed-use development isn't good at all for home appreciation. So this comment, you can see what I wrote, but I strongly disagree with this comment. Mixed-use development, he's right. It's not always good, but it always depends on the location. We're not talking about a mixed-use development that's going to have, a liquor store, an Arby's or something, a check cash in place, a pawn shop or something like that. Number one, we're talking about Ballantyne. Ballantyne is known as a high-end area. If you live in Charlotte, if you mention Ballantyne, people know what Ballantyne is. It's like saying Myers Park, Dilworth, Waxhaw. People know that, if you live there, your household income is a lot more than the average. People with a lot of money live there. Not necessarily a lot. You can find houses. You're going to need to be looking $500,000 minimum. But a lot of rich people live there. So it's very well known. So number one, we're not talking about just a regular area. We're talking about Ballantyne. And we're talking about a mixed-use development that's going to have a stream park. It's going to have an amphitheater. It's going to have more office space, coffee shops, restaurants. a bunch of stuff. We still don't know exactly what's going to be going on in there in the retail space, but it's going to be nice stuff. And Ballantyne's one of those areas that needs a lot more amenities because they want to make it a destination where people go to hang out at, get a hotel at the Ballantyne Luxury Hotel, and just hang out there for a weekend. So they're making it a destination. That's number one. Number two, the schools in Ballantyne are they're just very well known. People move to Ballantyne for the schools, for the housing, for the safety, for the location. So I don't believe Anthony. I don't think you live in Charlotte. Otherwise, I don't think you would have made this comment. I think you might live out of state and just not know. But I do agree with you that mixed use development isn't always good for property values. But again, we're talking about certain areas, and in this instance, we're talking about Ballantyne, which is not not just any area, run-of-the-mill area. I believe property values over there are going to double within the next 10 years. And Ballantyne Reimagine, I think, is going to have a big part to do with it. So guys, I see there's a couple people on here, about 5 people. Drop me some questions, comments, anything at all I could possibly answer for you. Real estate related, living in Charlotte related, whatever the case is. And just so you know, when you're watching live, I don't see who's watching live. So if you're embarrassed about something, don't worry about it. Cameron Thorne, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like I said, yeah, so I don't know who's watching. The only time I'll see your name is if you comment something down below. Oh, God, I'm on pins and needles. I'm on pins and needles right now. Waiting for a potential offer to get accepted, so I'm very nervous. And I should be hearing something within the next 10 minutes. I see a ton of questions, so I'm glad to see you, love. We'll drop some more questions. Let's see here. And let me run through some of these other comments. So I do not know how to pronounce your name. I do know how to pronounce your last name. What is the most up-and-coming spots in the Charlotte area? Maxwell Burnt. So the most up-and-coming that are extremely close to Uptown Charlotte, Biddleville, Wesley Heights, Shannon Park. I don't know why I keep making that noise. And what is this other area that I was just in? It's right next to Plaza Midwood. Where is it? Let me see 1 second. I don't know necessarily if the neighborhood even has a name, to be honest with you. Those are just a couple off the top of my head. Biddleville, Wesley Heights, Shannon Park. There's a couple in Plaza Midwood. I actually have a list. I need to bring that list over and kind of go over to you. And I also made a video on up-and-coming neighborhoods. Another one is an area called Mora. It's located off of Monroe Road and like Idlewild Road, and it's a long stretch of area. Just a lot of plazas are being built there. Restaurants, they opened up a couple like first breweries that are actually in that area. I live about a mile or two from there. So it's definitely up and coming. But if you just drive around Charlotte, there's just so many areas that are, just up for development. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull up some of these other questions you guys got for me. Let's see. All right. Okay, Cameron Thorne, first question I have, how would you say shopping is in Charlotte, malls, shopping centers, etc.? I think it's great. We have, like, the main shopping centers, number one is going to be South Park. South Park's absolutely insane. Everything you could possibly imagine they have in the South Park area. Concord Mills Mall, which is an outlet mall, is ridiculously huge, always busy, ton of shopping. And then we have another outlet mall that's outside. It's an outdoor outlet mall. It's off of New Fashion Way. It's right on the border of South Carolina. I can't remember what it's called. I really don't remember what it's called, but those are like the biggest ones that I can think of. We also have North Lake Mall, Carolina Place Mall, but the three that I just mentioned are kind of like the main ones, the biggest ones, the nicest ones. The other ones are okay too. I'm just, telling you in my personal opinion. So as far as shopping goes, there's no limit to the shopping around Charlotte. It's pretty insane. Okay, Kay. If you had children and money wasn't an issue, where would you suggest buying? So I love that question. If money wasn't an issue, where would I buy? I would probably buy in the Myers Park area. Myers Park, Dilworth, where Country Club Heights is. I just love those areas. If you've never been in those areas, it's so stunning. Beautiful older brick houses that have been renovated, beautiful huge oak trees. I mean, it's gorgeous. I also like Waxhaw, Marvin, Lake Norman, Cornelius. All that stuff is great because if money wasn't an issue, you can buy a house on the lake, which would be amazing. But for some reason, like the Myers Park area, those really high end areas right outside of Uptown Charlotte are just my favorite. It's just so much charm. It's just great. It honestly is. So if money wasn't an issue, I'd be in that Myers Park area. That's probably where I'd be looking to buy. Um, just because I want to be around people, I don't want to buy an estate that's like ridiculously huge. Let's see. Dino, looking for a neighborhood in Charlotte with great school district. What is good price for a 4 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath, around 4,000 square feet? Oh goodness. Okay. Good school district, 4 to 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath, around 4,000 square feet. So Dino, 4,000 square feet is a huge, huge, huge house. Um, I mean, you can definitely find it if you're looking for something like what you just mentioned, and with 4,000 square feet, my friend, you're gonna be 700,000 probably at a minimum, and that might be lowballing. That might be lowballing with that square footage. If you drop the square footage down to roughly 3,000, maybe to 3,500, you'll be under 700,000 depending on the area. But honestly, the houses that are priced that high with that square footage, you're not really going to end up in a bad area that has bad schools. But yeah, 4 or 5 bedroom, 3.5 bath, 4,000 square feet. You're probably looking at 800,000, and that's a low ball. Probably closer to a million, my friend. But like I said, it depends. It just depends on the area. There's areas like Huntersville where you can get a lot more bang for your buck. You can get larger square footage. Indian Trail is also a great area. Bigger house, bigger square footage for less money. Excuse me, but yeah, I would 800,000 at a minimum to get that square footage. You can find a 4 or 5 bedroom house with 3.5 bath, but that's going to be smaller, closer to that 3,000 square footage for a lot less. But the square footage is what gets it up there. Cameron Thorne, I'm a future CEO and I was thinking of starting up in Charlotte. How much room do you think there is for commercial real estate development in Uptown? Uh, Cameron, there's not a lot of room. There's not a lot of room right now. Honestly, it's expanding a lot. They just announced that we're gonna have our first like huge skyscraper in South End. So everything's just expanding outward. It's going towards South End, and so you're gonna be going outside of Uptown, if you're gonna be a developer and things like that. But if you want to buy a commercial building and then remodel it, that might be a better choice because you don't have to worry about the space. What general area is all of these cities? For example, North Charlotte, South Charlotte. Cameron, I don't really understand the question. Kay says, I lived in Dilworth years ago. I'll revisit it. Love the area. Yeah, Dilworth is so nice. I mean, it's gorgeous. There are a lot of smaller homes over there that people buy and they just knock down and they build these gorgeous, gorgeous like French provincial style homes. And I mean, they're stunning. And I love the area just because it's like it's one of those areas that's almost out of a movie. You know, just like people walking there, you know, with families walking their dogs, and it's just really cool. Um, Maria, where would you say are the preferred area north and east of Charlotte, looking for a charming little town to invest and retire? So north and east Charlotte. If you're in Charlotte, the 28269 zip code is a good place to start, and you can go right up to Huntersville too, which is just up the road. East Charlotte, closer to Mint Hill, Harrisburg area. That's probably what I would recommend. That's looking if you're looking for like a charming little town. Even Davidson, it's a little bit further up, but Davidson is a really nice area as well. A lot of people like it there, so that's definitely an area I can recommend for you. Cameron, all the areas you mentioned, Myers Park, Huntersville, where are they from Uptown? Myers Park is just going to be just south of Uptown, extremely close. I mean, within a 5 minute drive, you're in Uptown. Um, and Huntersville, it's always depending on traffic because you have to take 77. So it could be as quick as 15, 20 minutes, and as long as 30 minutes if we have traffic. So Myers Park in Uptown, it's a totally different ball game. For If you go to Huntersville for $500,000, you could buy a 4 or 5 bedroom, close to 3,000 square feet. In Myers Park for $500,000, you're gonna get a 2 bedroom bungalow or something like that that needs to be renovated. That's 1,200 square feet. Totally different ball game when you're looking at what kind of house you can get for your money when you're comparing Huntersville to Myers Park. Totally different ball game. All right, so I was supposed to get an email, hopefully, getting an offer accepted, shortly after 12 o'clock, and I got no email. So now I'm getting a little bit nervous, but let's see how it goes. Let's see. Mark, I just purchased a home in Cornelius, Victoria Bay. Do you think real estate values will continue to plateau? It's going to depend on the interest rates. I'm not sure what interest rate you got, but I know they've been going up lately. So right now we're seeing like 3.2, 3.3 for like people with really good credit scores. If they happen to go up to 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, we'll definitely see tapering off. If we go any higher than that, we'll start seeing some price decreases. 3.5, 3.6, that's still extremely low for an interest rate, but we've just been spoiled for the past year and a half with interest rates. So people think it's high, but yeah, if we start getting to the high threes, low fours, home prices have to go down because the people that are looking right now, for example, buying a $500,000 home at a 3.2 interest rate, if it goes up to a 3.8, you're no longer looking at 500,000 because your income can't afford that mortgage payment. So instead of 500,000, now you're down to 400,000. So it puts you in a totally different bracket, and sellers will have no choice but to decrease their prices because the pool of buyers is going to go down tremendously. But yeah, number one, congratulations to buying in Cornelius. You'll know soon enough. It's an amazing area. But anytime you're by the lake is a good thing, especially because Charlotte is quote unquote landlocked, even though Lake Norman, Lake Wiley, like they're huge. They're big enough to have a boat, have jet skis, and things like that. We're still considered landlocked, but they're extremely desirable areas for people that want to be by the water. If that makes sense. Of course. You are very welcome. I don't know how long I should give this agent before I reach out to her and see what's going on. Like I said, I'm waiting on a response to an offer that we submitted yesterday. So I'm extremely anxious, like I always am. So I'm hoping to hear something back as soon as possible. Drop some questions, guys. Please do. Please do. And I'm wondering if, I don't know if I want to do these live Saturday or not. Come on. I don't know if you guys watched the beginning of the video, but the former CEO of Blockbuster just listed his house in Charlotte. The address is 8433 Eagle Glen Way. It's an insane house. It's listed at 6,495,000. Seven bedroom, seven full bath, three half bath, and it's just under 13,500 square feet. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty insane house. They call it the baby Biltmore. If the Biltmore is the Biltmore Estates in Asheville, and it really looks like it. But I think it's just cool that the former CEO of Blockbuster, lives in Charlotte and now put his house up for sale. I think it's pretty awesome. It's an goodness, I can't. I wish I can go see it, but once you start getting up to these price ranges, I mean, honestly, once you start getting, over $1 million, people, even agents, even myself, if I wanted to schedule a showing, sellers really won't allow me to unless I have a qualified buyer, and they require you to to submit your pre-approval before you're even allowed to see the house. So they either want your pre-approval that, hey, you can afford this house and you should be in here looking at this house, or you need to show me a bank statement showing that you're very well off, so you're not wasting my time looking at this house. So it's pretty cool, and it's a little awkward too because once you're in those price ranges, the seller's agent accompanies you while you're showing the house. So I'll tell people that I'm working with, if we're ever in this price range, like, hey, if you love this house, if you absolutely fall in love with this house, just put on your poker face and say you hate it. That way the agent doesn't get any inkling or whatever, and we can go ahead and try to negotiate and say, well, we really hate the kitchen. It's not really our style, so we'll have to gut it, and that'll cost us, 50, 60,000. So that's why we're offering 50, 60,000 below, your asking price or whatever the case is. So it's pretty funny. It's always a little awkward, but you try to have fun with it. At the end of the day, someone's trying to buy, you're trying to sell. It's not that complicated, Julian F. Reed, do you see prices continuing to increase heavily in Charlotte? I'm planning to use my home as a rental, so I'd like to hear others' opinion on the rental market. Julian, the rental market is, very strong in Charlotte. We don't have enough housing to support all the people that are moving here. Rental prices I don't really see going down. Inflation is absolutely through the roof right now. So with inflation, if you're looking at it on a broad spectrum, with inflation, you can expect to see home prices increase, rental prices increase. Hell, I go to some of my local restaurants or the places that I visit frequently. Everybody's going up on price. Everybody's going up on price. All my subscriptions I have to like a bunch of stuff, I got an email within like the last month or two saying, hey, it's an extra $5 a month now. It's an extra, this a month now. So it's tough to say. I do see the home prices continuing as long as the interest rates stay kind of where they're at or steady. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, if they start going up, home prices will stagnate and then they will slightly start to taper off. I don't know how much they'll taper off, but they have to. And with inflation being so high, the Federal Reserve has no option but to increase rates. So it's eventually going to happen. They have to get back up. They're too low right now. I wish they would stay like this forever, but it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Oh, goodness. Now I got to write this email because I did not receive anything. You see, guys, this is what happens. I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm waiting for an offer to potentially be accepted, and I am so damn nervous. I don't even know if my buyer's as nervous as I am right now, just because I want them to get the house. And she said she was supposed to give me, if she does accept it, she said it was supposed to come in shortly after 12 o'clock, and it's 15 minutes after 12 o'clock. So now I'm anxious. Dino, how is the inventory of homes for sale around 700 to 800? Do you have bidding wars like Boise, or is the market more chill? Dino, it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit slower paced in that price point, but it literally just depends on the house itself. For the majority of the houses, I will say they take longer to sell. I was just out yesterday looking at houses within that price range, and most of them have been on the market for a week or two now. One of them has an open house today and things like that. But if a house was in that price range and it came on the market, extremely updated, just 100% move-in ready, those houses are going to have bidding wars. But I will say for the majority of homes within that $700,000-$800,000 price range, it's a little bit slower paced. You're able to look at the house. I'm able to negotiate a little bit, and things of that nature. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. But always, you just never know. I've seen perfect opportunities come together. I've seen some extremely ugly houses come on the market that I was like, oh man, this is never going to sell. And then it sells right away because the perfect buyer was there at the perfect time. But for the most part, it's a little bit slower paced within that price range. Cameron, did you see my question about areas to avoid? Honestly, Cameron, I do not. I don't spend. I don't spend my time focusing on like areas to avoid. Like if I'm in like some upcoming neighborhoods, like for example, Biddleville or Wesley Heights, over towards that area, there's like some sketchier areas and things like that. But I don't focus on those areas at all. You know what I mean? So there's really not. There's no subdivision that I know of for you to avoid, if that kind of makes sense. Especially now with up and coming neighborhoods, there's houses that I've seen that are dilapidated, falling over, and then 2, 3 houses down, somebody's building something that's $1 million. That's just kind of what's happening right now. My best thing to kind of tell you, is if you're in the area, if you happen to visit the area, just drive around. Like I said, I don't go. We have bad areas in Charlotte. Charlotte's a big city. It's not perfect. I always say that. We have bad areas. I don't focus on bad areas. You're never gonna see me do like a neighborhood tour of a bad area because why? I don't focus on the bad areas. Anybody I work with, I tell people up front, I would never tell somebody to live where I personally wouldn't live. Now, if they want to do that, obviously that's their decision. What do you think are the strongest sub markets in Charlotte right now for future growth and appreciation? Matthews, Waxhaw, towns like this. Julian, so Matthews, Waxhaw, they're already priced. They're already priced pretty up there. They're not cheap or anything like that. Those areas will continue to grow. They were popular. Waxhaw started to get built up a lot, but Waxhaw is one of those areas where people, they wanted a big house, they wanted a big lot size and all that stuff. Right now, I mean, all those suburbs. Honestly, if you watch my other videos, home prices in the next 10 to 15 years are going to be insane in the Charlotte and surrounding areas. And if you watch my video I did 2 weeks ago about the 6 things you didn't know about moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, York County, which is the county where Rock Hill and Fort Mill is housed in, their population growth is expected to double in the coming years. So those prices are going to go up. You know, you can't have population double and expect home prices to stay where they are or even slightly go up. They're gonna, they're gonna go up. That's what even caused a lot of the home prices in Charlotte to increase, because of the amount of people moving here and the relocation. Cameron said, "Well, I just want to know what they are. Like, what are the sketchy?" Cameron, I honestly have no idea, man. Like I honestly don't. If you're driving around Charlotte, you might run into a sketchy area, but I don't know what it is. I guess you're trying to say. Like, for example, like there's not like a Compton in Charlotte that I know about, or there's not really an area that I know other agents talked about and they've told me, oh, this is a horrible area, you should stay away. You know what I mean? I just don't know those areas. All right, drop some questions in, and we just got an update on that offer. It looks really good. She's saying they're signing now, but I never get excited about that until I have the offer in my hands. Not in my hands, but on my email. Let's see here. I gotta do this real quick. Chris Springs. Let's see here what we got. All right. All right, guys, drop some questions down below. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get going, because now I'm extremely paranoid about this offer. But anyway, this was a good 40-minute session. Please reply to email so the buyer still wants it. I will then. All right, guys, I have to go. She said, please reply to this email so I know your buyer still wants the house. Then I will let the other buyers know the offer's been accepted. So fingers crossed for me. Let me go work. Let me do what I got to do and get my buyer this house. I appreciate all you guys stopping by. I'll catch you next time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave me some more comments. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, all that good stuff. And let's go get my buyer this house.